I'm Larry Kitchens, member of the Hurst City Council, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the first of two sessions that we've got planned tonight on cybersecurity. Several years ago, as a matter of fact, I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago, Sonny, that came up with the idea because of the work that I was working on with the National Committee on Technology, and began to realize, even before then, the importance of cybersecurity and the impact it was having on us as individuals, but also on city government and businesses and things like that. That it might be a good thing for the city of Hurst to sponsor some type of cybersecurity forum for our citizens so that we could better equip them to deal with this. So this is a continuing of that annual program on behalf of the citizens. In the past, we've sort of concentrated on network security, computer security, password protection. One year, I think we talked about the new chip credit card and what you should expect from this. So we're trying to provide an educational basis so that citizens know what to expect and what they can do to better protect themselves. And I want to commend the City Council and the staff of Hurst in embracing this ideal and going forward with it. This takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to pull a program like this together, and certainly appreciate the presenters that will be coming up here in just a few minutes. In case you didn't know, October is Cybersecurity Month, and I can't think of a better month that would have been chosen to talk about cybersecurity. As some of you already know, the threat that we're facing is an ongoing threat, and it is something that we've got to constantly be aware of. The one constant in cybersecurity threat landscape is that it's always evolving. The most sophisticated threats are constantly changing to adapt to whatever defenses that we're able to come up with. The day that you think your defenses are sufficient is the day that you're going to be attacked. Having said that, many of the cybersecurity threats that we experience are those threats that we really have known from in the past. In fact, 80% of the threats that we see are threats that we've seen in the past. It's that other 20% that hits us that is the ones that hurts us the most. Organizations, city government, federal government, everyone is always under some type of attack. In fact, I came across a study. I just want to share some numbers with you at this point that I thought were interesting. The industry, the highest number of attacks by ransomware is, anyone want to hazard a guess, which industry is the one that is most attacked by ransomware? It's healthcare. You stop and think what would happen to our healthcare if they were successful in blocking and preventing healthcare to be administered. And 61% of the breach of victims in 2017 were businesses with less than 1,000 employees. We tend to think that they go after the bigger businesses, but the fact of the matter is, bigger businesses have more professionals to protect them from cyber attacks. It's a smaller mom and pop type business that may not have the resources to do that. And then I came across some other things, and I just came across this afternoon. Otherwise, I'd have it up on the screen. Approximately 24,000 malicious mobile apps are blocked every day. And in the number of data breaches that occurred is up 600%. The cost of fighting cybersecurity by 2020 is estimated to cost business, individuals, government over $6 trillion. So it is an expensive venture that we're having to face. One of the attacks that we see is called Vicodin. How many of the young people here have heard of Vicodin? It's an attack primarily on local government, city government, state government, and their goal is to knock all American government websites offline We're going to destroy the state websites, city websites, and federal websites. And you can imagine what would happen if they were successful in being able to block access to all of these websites. It could be a cyber attack trying to mine data from a company's database, take control of critical infrastructure such as water, sewer, 911 systems, even taking control of traffic lights. Just imagine what would happen if they were able to control all of our traffic lights, how they could foul up the flow of traffic. It could be, and this is what the second session is going to be focusing on, cyberbullying. And so have a lot of ways that we need to look at this. This session, this first session is geared toward you, the young people, and hopefully encourage you to consider taking a career path in cybersecurity professional. This is something I know that HEB is actively pursuing. We certainly appreciate that. And I would say to you, and hopefully, I think you'll probably be sharing this, but it's not only a high demand profession, but it's also a very lucrative profession in pay at this point. In fact, most businesses, if you tell them that you have a degree or training in cybersecurity, you can almost guarantee yourself a job because it is that big of demand. And it's something that is going to continue and it's not going to stop. So as I said, what we're looking for is young people that are looking for a career that is going to allow them to advance quickly, but it also is going to meet a real need that we're going to see in our society and in our businesses. So without further ado, I want to introduce Sunny Patel. He's our City of Hurst Director of Information Technology, and he is the one that deserves all of the credit for pulling this program together. But I appreciate everyone being here. Sunny?
Good evening, everyone. I can't take all the credit. Kira Illich with HEB ISD has been a great help for me this year. So if I switch out a couple of slides here. We have a couple of speakers for you. The first speaker is Waris Hussain. He works for CDW, who is a large distributor and solutions company in the USA. Waris has 10 years of experience. He's the CDW Senior Security Solutions Architect. So, Waris?
So, my name is Waris Hussain, and I'm the Senior Solution Architect for Security. Okay. So, can you hear me? Okay. So, I'm Senior Solution Architect. What means is that I go out and talk to city K-12 higher-ed customers and districts and talk about the security concerns and work on solutions to provide better securing the network, data, and all those things. So, when I was asked to talk about this, I thought to share my own career with you guys so you can understand what I did, and then we can talk about some things which we learned, I learned from my career, which I can tell you guys about it. So I did my bachelor's in computer engineering in 2005. While doing bachelor's in computer engineering, I was there are two major things. One was computer hardware and one was software. I realized in my 4 years of college education that although software is very booming, there's a high value of demand of jobs, but I'm not good in software development. Later on, the hardware piece of it is a portion called network or network security. So I did some courses online, I did some certifications, and then I started my master's in network and data communication security. And I was doing it from Wichita State University, Kansas. So during that master's, I got assistantship. And as part of that assistantship, I need to work as a network and system admin for College of Health Professions. So what that means is I used to go out and talk to all my IT folks and install antiviruses, updates, and take care of network switching. Now, back in 2005, security was very different, not was like this today. At that time, all you need a PC with an antivirus Norton for scanning. All you need a firewall with access list on it, and that's pretty much it. So I started to work as a system admin. I was more like a system admin than a network guy, but it really helped me to gain experience, and I was at the same time getting paid for it, so it was good. So I completed my master's in 2007. And after that, I was interviewed for Cisco Systems, and I was hired by Cisco Systems in 2007. That team which I used to work for primarily used to focus on configuration, troubleshooting of security firewalls. Now, here's one important thing that I want to tell you is this is 2007. At that time, if a customer has a firewall and an IPS IDS solution, which is like threat prevention, that's pretty much it. I mean, there was not more than that security-wise. There was a few more things, but mainly you used to have firewalls in the network and also in the enterprise or commercial or government side. So I did it for almost 2 years. 2 years later, we were building a team in Dallas. By the way, this was San Jose, California. So 2 years later, they were building a team in Dallas for network access. What that means is that when you come to a network, you connect to Wi-Fi, you connect to wired switches. So you need to authenticate before you connect. So anybody can come and connect the laptop and do something. So there's a solution of Cisco which gives protection, which validates you, authenticates you first before coming in. So I became part of that team as a team lead in 2009, worked there for 4 or 5 years, and then after 5 years, I moved to a pre-sales and technical marketing position, which was more like a place where I used to go out and talk to customers, events, and seminars and lectures, and also go deep dive in security solutions. Keep in mind, by 2014, the security has been changed a lot. It's no more firewall, it's no more Norton scan. Now security has email security, security has threat or ransomware, security has endpoint security is next gen with analytics and threat and all those things. So it's become more complex than it was before. So I worked almost 9 years in this company, an awesome company to start off here with. But the thing which I realized was 9 years of my career are good, but I have always been part of a solution provider. I've never been part of a customer who uses the solution. So thinking on those lines, I moved to, I was looking for an enterprise network company to work for. And if you are in security, the best place to work is bank. And the reason is because banks have the top-notch security you can think of. They have almost all the solutions in place because the stakes are too high. You can't have a bank get a breach. So I joined Bank of America in 2016 as a consultant, used to work again in different solutions. And I worked on for almost 1.5 to 2 years. Later on, I was offered a job in CW as a pre-sales guy. With this job, which I have right now, I go out and talk to customers about any solution. Previously, I was more focused to one vendor, but now I'm talking about any vendor. So my concern here is not which company solution will work for, my concern is which solution is going to work for. So I go out and talk to customers. If Cisco is a good fit, fine. If not, then something else, then something else, and something else. what it's giving me as an individual is a growth in a skill set, a learning. So that is helping me to have a bigger picture of security or my area of expertise, and my skill set is increasing by that, by the amount of work I do every day. As opposed to previous job where I was working, but I was focusing on one solution, one vendor. So this is my 11 years of security or cybersecurity career. By the way, there was no cybersecurity before. It was used to call security, as he said. But since it's more complex, so now it's cybersecurity coming up. Now, what I learned from my 11 years. One thing which I told you in the starting was you need to find interest in what you are doing. And regardless of cybersecurity or not cybersecurity or anything else. When I was doing my undergrad, as I said, software was hot at the time. Software is still hot at the time. There were jobs for fresh people more than ever. But I understand, I realize that I'm not the best of the breed in the software space. So try to find something which you think is gonna not make you boring. And the reason I'm saying is because after 4 years, 7 years, 8 years, you will be using that skill set to earn your living. So make sure your skill set makes you feel interested. Make sure it's not make you feel boring or annoying to you. So that's why you should have some kind of interest, small, large, medium, whatever it is, I don't know. But some kind of interest in that cybersecurity space. Once you find that, the important thing is to prep yourself. Now prep is a word which you can use for anything. So for example, if you find interest in cybersecurity, what you would do? You would go out and read network articles, networkers, there are blogs, there are courses out there. In security space, all you need to do is reading and hands-on. These two things will help you. Now, once you find that you want to do it, you can go out and read those articles, blogs, you can take courses, you can do hands-on. And you can do plenty of work which apart from your normal degree. So that will help you to actually see what this cybersecurity is, and it can help you to increase your skill set so that when you are interviewed for a job, you have that basic knowledge. Because the catch in the first phase of the cybersecurity job is you don't have experience, and you apply for a job which people want some kind of experience in it. So there are two ways you can get experience, either by reading a lot or by certifications and or by some kind of work you do along with your degree. So next thing, that leads to our next thing, which is opportunity. It's very, very important. It's very, very important when you are doing your college, school, whatever, you do some kind of internship, co-ops in the space, in the area of cybersecurity. What it leads towards, it gives you an idea of what actual environment works or looks for. So if you do a co-op, internship and projects, there are plenty of, if you go online, you have plenty of websites which gives you, hey, can you do this project for 6 months? And maybe you will struggle it, maybe it will be too hard for you. But that's fine, you're not working for a full-time employee, you're just learning things and delivering stuff. What it will give you an actual real-world example or a real-world scenario of how things work, instead of just books and notifications and readings and blogs. So I used to work as a system admin in College of Health Profession. That gave me a lot of sense of how a normal campus network looks like. I studied in the books, but I didn't realize how it looked like. There are plenty of things which are different than what it is in the books. The other thing, which once you get your first opportunity and your first job and you work for 3, 4 years and 5 years in the cybersecurity, keep learning is a key thing. As I mentioned earlier, when we started our career, I started my career in 2007, it was 2, 3 things at a time. Now there are 10 different things in security. Whoever managing security knows that they need to buy 5, 6 solutions to work for it. Those solutions were not there. So you need to keep on learning. The day you stopped, so you went to a job, you worked there for 5 years, and you gain a skill set. Now, the skill set will last for X amount of time. You need to move on with the other skill set as well. So there will be replacement solutions, there will be replacement technology. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, analytics was not that big. Today it's big. 5 years ago, cybersecurity, 10 years ago, cybersecurity was a thing, but not a big thing. Today is a very big thing. So if you keep on adding your skills, if you keep on adding your knowledge or reading stuff or doing certifications while you're also on the job, that will help you towards moving to your career. In a long span of career for 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, my own formula is always, if I move from one job to the job, I make sure that the next job also gives me some additional skill set. Always remember, whenever you are going to move a job, it will be based on your previous role, mostly. So you will be using your previous skill set and you will be adding your skill set with something new. If you are moving from one role to other role, exactly the same thing, there is no point of moving it because you are not getting anything apart from commercial or beneficial monetary benefits. So keep these 4 things in mind. Make sure you find out what interests you in cybersecurity or in network security or any kind of security. When you find that, try to convert that into some kind of knowledge, learning, and then take the opportunity while you are in college, while you are in school, while you are studying anywhere, to do a real world example and keep learning while you are on a professional job also, because things will change outside. If you're stuck on one role for 20 years and you don't study, then the skill set will go down. So in cybersecurity space, there's the catch, or I like it because it keeps me relevant to the market, but obviously it's a catch that you need to be patient and keep studying for next technology which is coming up. So that's what my career was, and that's what I learned from my 11 years. If you have any questions.
I love the keep moving forward idea, and my question is it possible to be proactive as opposed to reactive when it comes to cybersecurity?
Yeah, so when you say proactive, assuming you are trying to study for something which is new, which is going to be future. Yes, but keep in mind, so I mature this question, I reiterate this question saying that when I see like new technology coming in, like cryptocurrency is coming up, or crypto technology or blockchain is coming up right now. Now, how good the blockchain will be? Maybe yes, to an extent. If you ask me, I will wait for some time to make it more mature and more commercial. So we can see more deployments or more use cases of blockchain technology. Once I have a confidence that, yeah, this skill is new, this is good, and this will lead me towards new technology or new opportunities, yes, I will do that. But if it is very premature, like it's like in the books or in theories and there's few startups who are doing it, my take will be just to wait for it. The question. So,
Thank you, Hurst. So I know for the kids out there, the one thing that they keep hearing is, you got to keep learning. You got to keep learning. Unfortunately, in technology, that is one thing you do have to do. Just a quick background on me. I'm the IT director for the city of Hurst. I've been with the city for 20 years. I've been in the industry 25 plus years. I am still learning. As you can see, I have difficulty operating this computer. But the good thing is, HEB has a lot of resources that will help you move towards this field. Our next, excuse me. Our next presenter is Kevin Milton. He's the Director of Academic Research at NISA. And I was probably going to get your presentation wrong. Okay.
Thank you. All right, speaking of technology, let's make sure this works. Testing, 1, 2. Hey, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Remember that commercial? Was it Verizon? Can you hear me now? Good, good. My name is Kevin Milton. I am the Director of Academic Outreach for NICER, the National Integrated Cyber Education Research Center. Got that? NICER. Yeah, NICER's easier, right? So we are the academic, K-12 academic division of the Cyber Innovation Center, located in Bossier City, Louisiana. Who knows where Bossier City, Louisiana is? Who knows where Shreveport, Louisiana is? There's a few more people. So we are just on the other side of the Texas border as you cross into Louisiana. So the first town you get to when you get to Louisiana on I-20 is Shreveport. If you go to the next town, that's Bossier City. So you're like, wait a minute, how is this guy from Bossier City, Louisiana, an expert in cybersecurity? Well, we've been doing this for 10 years, and I'm not going to bore you with the whole long story, but the Department of Homeland Security, you might know who the Department of Homeland Security is, DHS. DHS has identified us as their national model for STEM, cybersecurity, and computer science education. And what that means is I get to travel the country educating teachers on cybersecurity. Because ultimately, teachers are the ones that are going to be introducing these fundamentals that both of our speakers earlier this evening have talked about. So what I want to do is I want to ask you guys some questions. What is cybersecurity? And don't read the slide, okay? I know you have a good answer.
Cybersecurity is security against technology. People who want to get into secretive bases, secretive things that we usually not hear about in public by hacking, getting by other ways. And cybersecurity is what stops them.
Are you looking for a job? Dr. Hire. That's a great answer. That's a great answer. What else? Anybody else have an idea what cybersecurity is?
Cybersecurity is taking hackers, the bad kind, out of other people's information.
For a job too, I'll hire you too. So those are two great answers. What I want to do is I want to further kind of dissect that word. Cyber security. I think we all know what security is, right? And both of the young men who gave us their answers talked about the security, the protection. But what is cyber? Give me somebody. Yes, ma'am.
It's online, like Facebook and social media, but it's also different things like websites and just general online.
Yeah, so online, so the cloud, that is cyber. What else is cyber? Online banking, great example. Remind me to tell you a story about online banking that plays to your story earlier. What's that? Yeah. What else? What else is cyber? So we've got about all this online stuff. What else is cyber? I'm thinking more, okay, yes.
Technology as a whole.
Technology as a whole. Cyber, there's 1,000 different definitions of cyber. It's technology overall. It's hardware. It's software. It's the cloud. And all we have to do when we talk about cybersecurity is that we have to figure out how to protect all of that. That's easy, right? Not really. It's very, very difficult. And the first speaker talked about the various attacks that. There we go. Go back to that one. We talked about the various attacks, and so I want to give you 3 examples of attacks. The first, you remember I said I was from Bossier City, Louisiana. Well, the Bossier City water utility online payment system, guess what? Got hacked. Month and a half ago. So what happened? Kevin Milton's credit card information got stolen. And you know how I found out about it? Is I have my mobile alert through my online banking, all of a sudden I see a charge for $5. I'm like, I don't spend $5 anywhere. The next thing I know, like 30 seconds later, there's a charge for $10. And there's a charge for $20, all within the first 60 seconds. Then after about 2 minutes, there's a charge for $4,000. And I'm like, hold up, Chase. I've been hacked. Though I did everything to protect myself, in the question earlier about, can you be proactive as opposed to reactive? There's only so much that we can do from a proactive standpoint. I made sure that I had the alerts on my online banking, that I wanted to make sure that Bossier City water system was secured before I decided to do online banking, because I could cut them a check and put it in the mail, the old tried and true method, or I can trust that site. And probably shame on me for not doing my due diligence and making sure that that site had the necessary security backing that I needed, so I know that my credit card information is safe. So proactive versus reactive, there's always the investigation that we need to do. Another hack was when we'll call it a foreign country because we don't know exactly who did it yet, or at least it's not declassified yet, but Office of Management and Budget was hacked. Well, as a contractor for DHS, my information was hacked. And so my social security number, my credit cards, all my information is out on the market. Again, somebody you should trust with your information does not have the appropriate security measures to actually protect what you have. Those are the vulnerabilities. And then the last story I want to tell you, and I want you to Google this, or I want you to go on to YouTube tonight. So this is your homework assignment. All right? What I want you to do is I want you to Google or YouTube the Jeep hack. You've heard of that. So the Jeep hack. So how many of you have a Jeep? Car, vehicle? Anybody? Okay. You've had one. So there's the online system, and I call it OnStar, but it's not OnStar for Jeep. It's fill in the blank. I can't think of it right now. But for the sake of conversation, it's OnStar. So what a person was able to do, as this individual is driving their Jeep down the road, they were able to hack into that OnStar system for that specific vehicle. They were able to gain control of the functions of that vehicle. So guess what they were able to do? They were able to crank that radio way up loud. And to where the driver's having to, close his ears because, it's so loud. They were able to crank the AC, or the heat, all the way up. This was a hot summer day, and so the heat's blaring full blast. And this person is somewhere else. This person, we don't know where this person is. They were able to control the windshield wipers. They were able to control the cruise control. And then the last demonstration they did is they were able to shut the car off. Just like that. This person was driving down the interstate at 70 miles an hour, and they were able to shut that car off and totally disable the vehicle. All through the OnStar system. It's crazy to think that an individual on a computer can do that sort of thing. It's crazy to think that. But one of the things that I want you to focus on, and as you're thinking about cybersecurity, is the ethics piece. How can you use this knowledge of cybersecurity to be ethical, to do what is right? It's just like a crime. I know you can speed, but should you speed? When you start thinking about how you want to pursue your career, what degree you want to be in, cybersecurity or hacking has such a negative connotation to it because we always assume that it's doing it for the ill or for the bad. But what we want is to figure out how to do it for the good. And that way we can protect our infrastructure. That way Bossier City water system and Kevin Milton's not getting hacked. That way, when you're driving your Jeep down the interstate, down 635, that your car's not going to go pew. That's where we have to start talking about our awareness. So how many of you want to go into a cybersecurity career field? Why do you want to go into a cybersecurity career field?
Well, for like around 2 to 3 years, I wanted to design a video game.
Oh.
But the thing is, design a video game is to make it so that people can't glitch or hack the game, so they can't just easily beat it. And you have to make it complicated. So I knew cybersecurity would involve protecting the video game from hackers and cheats and things. Because if that happens, your game would not play anymore, and no one would play it.
Great, that's awesome. That's awesome. Anybody else? Who else wants to go into a cybersecurity career? I hadn't heard from you yet.
I have a family that's mainly based around science and technology, and my brother actually works in the security field. So I kind of got inspiration from him because he's always working with technology and computers, and I was like, that sounds pretty cool. When I heard they had a cybersecurity course, I was just like, I can help out and protect people. So it's always nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Who else? So you raise your hand. Oh, that's great. That's an awesome answer. And let's talk about the ethics behind, doing this type of work for the right reason. Is there anyone else? I know you talk. I know. I want to make sure everybody has a chance to talk.
The job sounds very interesting. And a
Good
good learning experience.
learning experience. Yeah. So tell me this. So someone in this corner, I can't remember who it was, talked about STEM, science, technology. I think it was one in the blue, right? So science, technology, engineering, and math. So tell me this. Do you think that cybersecurity and STEM have anything to do with each other? I get a thumbs up from the back. Is that a yeah? 2 thumbs up? Does anybody think it doesn't? How many of you know somebody, or if you yourself have thought about being a doctor? Okay, there's a couple folks. We know all of our friends who say, yeah, I want to be a doctor one day. So, do you think doctors should know cybersecurity?
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
Because their access to everyone's personal information goes in for medical reasons, they get all your information, so that's an easy one, that if somebody wanted to hack it, they could get a lot of information for everybody.
Exactly. Any other thoughts on that? To the parents in the room, I remember the days where I walked into a doctor's office and it was all paper charts. And then when I went to the doctor to get my flu shot yesterday, he brought the computer in. And he was entering all my information on the computer. And that is all stored on a server. Guess what? That server is vulnerable. It is a point of weakness. Now, that sheet of paper, albeit less efficient, is secured behind a lock and key. Pros and cons, right? What about law? Has anybody of your friends or anybody that you know or your parents are a lawyer? Do you think law and cybersecurity have anything to do with each other? A thumbs up down here, thumbs up down here. Why? Does law and cybersecurity have anything to do with each other? Okay, I'm getting thumbs up. Why? Yes, ma'am.
I've been to my mom's office before, and she works at a restaurant, and I've seen her office, her cubicle, and she works on 2 screens. It's just a type of all of the information of the clients and everything. So someone to access that, they can access like their phone numbers, financials, and everything, which would be really dangerous to the person and people who are involved in the case.
Exactly right. That's a great point. Yes, sir.
My dad is not a lawyer, but he is a detective for Cherry County.
Yeah.
But he says they have very much to do with it. There's so many things that law and
Cybersecurity. Yeah.
have so much to do with each other.
That's exactly right. I mean, those are two great points. And how many of you all are on social media? I'll raise my hand. I'm on social media. So you take a picture, like, I'll take a selfie right here, and, everybody wave, say hi. All right, so I took a selfie. I'm going to post that to Instagram. All right, so I take the selfie. Who owns the selfie? I do. Okay? I take the selfie and I post it to Instagram. Who owns the picture? Instagram owns the picture. The issue of ownership is a legal matter. If I post something to Snapchat, who owns the something, the picture, the video? Snapchat. With that ownership, what can Snapchat do with that picture? Anything they want. That's a legal matter. The laws of today really don't apply. Rather, the laws of today were written back in the 80s. We're trying to learn how to apply today's technology to the laws of yesterday. Case in point, how many of you remember the tragedy in San Bernardino, California, where the suspect's iPhone had a lot of information on it. And they couldn't access the data because it was their own personal phone. And they couldn't get a warrant for it. They wanted Apple to hack the phone, but Apple was saying, no, I'm not going to hack the phone. These are the legal issues that we face around cybersecurity and law. It's a whole different ballgame. Talking about social media and your presence online, if you want to, ensure, let me rephrase that. Let me approach this from a different angle. How many of you think that a future employer, a future college, will not look you up on social media? Does anybody think that they will not do that? How many of you think they will? I'm interviewing for 4 positions right now to hire within our organization. And I did interviews this morning. Guess what the first thing I did was? I Googled them. You type in the search engine and you Google them. So why is that important to you? It's important because you want to know, or you want to ensure that your online digital footprint is clean. If you ever want to go work for the government, if you ever want to go work for the Department of Homeland Security, and I'm going to tell you about some things about DHS here in a second. If you want to go work for the Department of Homeland Security, the CIA, the FBI, any of those 3-letter agencies, guess what? Guess what they're going to do? They're going to Google you. And let me tell you, when they Google you, they find some stuff. I mean, they found pictures in high school from me. I'm like, how did you find that? Where was that? How did that happen? I know what happened, but how did you get it? Your online presence is absolutely critical. And there are definite opportunities for you here, in Hurst, Texas. There are definitely opportunities. You don't have to live in Washington, D.C. You don't have to live in, Virginia. There are definite opportunities here in the Dallas metro area. One of them is looking at this map right here. So actually, scholarship for service. This is an opportunity, if you are interested in participating in a cybersecurity degree, where you can enroll in this program and get a scholarship to go to college within a cyber degree program and be guaranteed a job. So if they give you a scholarship, for every 1 year of scholarship that they give you, you have to work a year in that field. Guess what? 1 year for a guaranteed job after graduation, that's a pretty fair deal. So all 4 years there. You get these scholarship for services, scholarship service opportunities based on Centers for Academic Excellences. So I'm kind of talking to mom and dad right now. CAEs, as they're called, is a designation that a university will get based on academic rigor and opportunity and connection to a future cyber workforce. So here in Texas, there are 16 Centers for Academic Excellences. All you have to do is go on to NSA or DHS.gov and Google search Centers of Academic Excellences. You can find those that are in Texas. I apologize that I did not do my homework coming here and don't have a list of those in this area, but I know there are at least 2 to 3 within the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. There is one in Ruston, Louisiana, Louisiana Tech University, so if you don't find that exact program that you're looking for here in this area, Louisiana Tech, I know, has an awesome Center for Academic Excellence program for students. So CAEs and SFS, if you're going to remember 6 letters out of this, remember NICERC, N-I-C-E-R-C, but remember CAE and SFS, Scholarship for Service. Okay. These slides are out of order because I thought I was going to do one order, but then I flipped it around last minute. So at this time, I want to pause and to see if there are any questions about what I've talked about or anything that you want to ask me about how I got here, free range questions from the students or the parents. Yes, thank you.
What made you want to actually do cybersecurity?
So, that's a good question, and I have to own up to this every time. So, I'm an educator. I was an assistant principal of a K-8 school in Shreveport, Louisiana, and then got contracted to do cybersecurity education for the Department of Homeland Security across the country. So I'm an educator by trade and by education, and then I have worked on various credentialing courses in cybersecurity through Louisiana Tech University to further that K-12. And so my job is to take the demand of CDW and to reverse engineer that for what workforce needs. And I do have a chart for it if I can find my clicker. So this chart right here. So this up here is the workforce, and we have to reverse engineer it to get students, i.e. you, introduced to these types of career fields at an early age. How many times do your parents, how many times do you ask your kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And, when I was in the classroom, I'd hear, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a veterinarian, I want to be a police officer, I want to be a firefighter. Being from Louisiana, I want to be Drew Brees. But one student one time asked me, how can you expect me to tell you what I want to be when I grow up when I don't know what all the options are? That's kind of like the aha moment as an educator of how can I ensure that my students know what all those options are. And so I started introducing students all the way down into the second grade about technology, about STEM, about these opportunities. And so when they get to high school, they can really dive into the different types of programs that are available. I know I'm going to put a plug in for the folks at Hurst within the school systems. They have been trained by my team of educators. They are starting to implement some of our programs that we have here. So, I talk about all the education programs, and I want you to know it's not a pipe dream in this community. It's actually being implemented and executed so the students can benefit ultimately from that. So that's a long way of answering your question, but I think I got there. Any other thoughts, questions? Yeah.
What certificates are required?
Certificates. Let me make sure I'm understanding that question. For whom? The student? So there's a bunch of different certifications. What I would focus on are two different companies. CompTIA, so it's COMPTIA, which is CompTIA A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus. Those are what are called the 1075s, which are the certifications that are needed by the federal government to be employable and to even touch a government networking, government network or a government system. So CompTIA A+, Net Plus, Security Plus. Then also ISACA, ISACA, is another certification body. And our content curriculum aligns to those certifications. So we're able to get those students with a foundation right out of high school. And let me tell you, if you get those three certifications, A+, Net Plus, Security Plus, and my friend CDW, I think will agree with me, you are employable like that. You can go to him and he'll hire you on the spot, I believe. If he doesn't, I will. But those are the three certifications. I think if you have those, you stamp your own ticket into a very high-paying job. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a quick question. So if somebody wants a career in not specifically in cybersecurity, like for example animation or something, do you think a background in cybersecurity still helps as they plan to study animation in the future? And if yes, how?
I do. I think so the word background is a very loose terminology, and I'll refine that a little bit, but I definitely think that any degree program that you go into, whether that's animation, whether that's computer science, whether that's medicine, whether that's law, you need to make sure that you have taken at least 2 college-level courses in cybersecurity, just foundation-level cybersecurity, because of the awareness piece. I think it's absolutely critical that no matter what degree program you go into, that cybersecurity is woven into that in some way, shape, or form.
Thank you.
I'm over my time. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank y'all.
So this time I'm going to hand it over to Lisa Carr with the HBISD. She's going to kind of go over some opportunities that HEB has.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here tonight. I am the Director of Career and Technical Education, and I want to see a show of hands. How many of you are our first class of cybersecurity students at Hurst Junior High? Raise your hands. Very good. Congratulations. I'm so excited. Raise your hand if you're in the first class of cybersecurity students at Euless Junior High. Yay! Very good. These students and parents are taking a chance on us, and we are not going to let you down. We are so excited to bring cybersecurity to HEB and be on the cutting edge of this high-demand, high-wage occupation. With Hurst and Euless Junior High becoming schools of choice for cybersecurity, these students are leading the pathway to the future in their career in cybersecurity. Tonight we do have Julie Watson, who is our cybersecurity teacher at Hurst Junior High, here with us this evening. Yay, Watson! Ms. Riley from Lewis Junior High could not be here this evening. And then students, I want to introduce you to Ms. Brockman, who's right here, who's at the Buicker CT Academy, who you will be meeting when you get to 10th grade in her classes. So we are here to answer any questions you may have tonight. In this little brochure that you have, we have a list of what those courses may look like for you as you journey through your education in cybersecurity. The Texas Education Agency is always evolving, especially since this is such a new pathway. So we're hoping that new courses will come on board. But right now, all of these courses are available and will be available to you in HUB-ISD, along with certification opportunities. So Mr. Milton talked about the 3 that you need for those higher paying jobs. A+ certification, M+ certification, and Security Plus certification. And all of those are taught at the Buicker CT Academy and will be available to you. So you can leave high school working very hard and get those certifications and be well on your way. So we're very excited about that and see how you all do. If you have any questions, let us know. I know Mr. Milton has a really fun hands-on activity to do next, and so we're here if you have any questions. We'll be around all night.